Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
Oh boy, it is Friday the 12th. Somebody said to me today that it was Friday the 13th, and I was like, no, it's not. It is Friday the 12th. And I told my friend, I said, you know, we have to be happy with the blessings that we have. And yeah, you know, this last week has been tough. I have been pretty hard on pretty much everyone in the comments. And I've been hard on everyone. And it's not going to stop. Like, I'm not here. You know, I don't think that we are parents so that we got to be our kids' friends. I said that this morning in a meeting. I said, look, we have a team. We have things that we have to accomplish, and we don't leave anyone behind. That loyalty and kindness for how we treat each other is necessary. And loyalty means that you just have to be there, and you have to be your brother's keeper at all costs. So I spent a lot of time being my brother's keeper over the last 5 years. So is our friend Mark Cook, who's going to be joining us. And I, at the last minute, kind of dropped it on the professor. I dropped it on Juan O'Sabin. He might get in. We'll see. But we're going to talk to Mark a little bit. He's the softer, cuddler, you know, nicer version of Joe. Have you ever seen twins? Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger? I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger. He is a nicer looking version of Danny DeVito. But we're going to talk about Tina Peters. We're going to talk about some of the things that have dropped. President Trump dropped a thunderbolt, a full pardon of Tina Peters. And he calls Polis what he is, a sleazebag. People that commit crimes, that got together, that created a cartel, that participated in a conspiracy to steal the voice of the people of Colorado and in other states by using a machine that they knew was designed to defraud the American people. Now, they could use any of the gaslighting that they want, me and many like me, like Mark Cook, like Professor Clements, like Joe Hoft, who wrote 3 books on the fraud against the people in this country. And they took it state by state. They engineered a solution to take away the rights of every American. They made you more of a slave than you really are. Or maybe it was just all a mirage to begin with. And maybe they've been stealing elections for 100 years. We don't know. But we know now because the veil's been pulled back and we can see very clearly these machines. We can see very clearly the programming that went into those machines and the fact that they are very, very quickly running as fast as they can and knee knocking. We'll call it knee knocking. Scared to death about what comes next. I don't think President Trump has any patience for any of them. At the same time, he's surrounded by people who, frankly, don't do good by the American people. They betray the people. Left, right, green, yellow, purple, doesn't matter. They slow things down to a place where we do not get justice. The American people, we have to act quickly. Hey, we're going to raise your taxes, so you have to get rid of a car because, frankly, you're not making enough money when they take that to meet your obligations. But the government doesn't have to adhere to that either. And in the middle of all this, they say Joe called for the execution. He's called for the violent overthrowing of Colorado leadership. That's not what I said at all. So I said something a few minutes before I got onto this, and then we'll go ahead and bring Mark in and I'll walk him through things. I said things that, frankly, were not the same. We're not the same. I wrote this. We're not the same. The punishment for treason is up to and including the death penalty. If you are a fair-weather Republican who thinks that the victimization and killing of innocent people over the last 5 years by a regime that locked up over 1,600 Americans in a gulag illegally, that indoctrinated and groomed our children, and the systematically called abortion, and then systematically called abortion a right that led to the genocide of over 70 million babies, we are not the same. When you adopt the talking points of the radical left and call accountability and consequences to crimes committed against Americans inciting violence, we are not the same, and you're a feckless coward. When you adopt the talking points, when you ignore the killing of millions of Americans through the COVID pandemic and vaccine that followed, we are not the same. You are not choosing the high road. You are virtue signaling, and you are allowing the radical left to strengthen their resolve and continue their crime spree against our nation. Millions of Americans have been victimized, bullied, raped, murdered, and abused, while you admonish those who have fought for years for accountability and restoration. We are not the same. Your weak disposition is why many are on the high perches and slanderous positions have children who are lost and dysfunctional. You lack courage, you lack conviction, and you hide behind virtue. No one is calling for violence. We did not kill Charlie, they did. We did not try to assassinate President Trump, they did. We did not let violent criminals out on the streets over and over again, they did. We are not the same. And if I bother you, if what I said bothers you, you could turn it off. If it bothers you that I call for accountability, then I'm sorry, we're not the same. If you could celebrate going to Ukraine and saying we have to fight the Russians while innocent people die, and I'll say that's soldiers on both sides, because they're the puppets in the Biden regime that were used in a proxy war to push this globalist agenda. We are not the same. When you think it's okay to kill 100 million Gazians, people from the Gaza or from Palestine, you think it's okay to kill them, kill the Palestinians, because you say that they committed a crime disproportionately, maybe they did, but that innocent men, women, and children died. We're not the same. Your selective humanity and your ability to sit on a perch and try to tell me that I'm calling for violence, I'm not. Nor is anybody else that calls for the systematic holding of people accountable for their behavior, for what they did, the betrayal to the American people. We're not the same. And many of you people that run for politics, many of you people that sit on the sideline and write your little Facebook posts that say, don't put up a meme and don't do this and let's take a deep breath. You've done jack shit over the last 5 years. You don't get a seat at the table to tell me what I can and cannot say. And you certainly don't get me being okay with the fact that you adopt the leftist talking points. We're not the same. You're a coward. I'm not. I'm going to continue to stand up and speak up for my friend Tina Peters, and so is Mark Cook. Mark, welcome to the show. I don't have you. You're muted.
I'm just figuring out how to use these computers, so mute, success. Okay.
All right.
So howdy, glad to be here.
It's good to have you. Mark, yesterday, Mr. President Trump put up a post, True Social post. Go ahead and put it up next to us. You want to read it?
Me?
Yeah.
Sure. For years, Democrats ignored violent and vicious crime of all shapes, sizes, colors, and types. Violent criminals who should have been locked up were allowed to attack again. Democrats were also far too happy to let in the worst from the worst countries so they could rip off American taxpayers. Democrats only think there's one crime, not voting for them. Instead of protecting Americans and their tax dollars, Democrats chose instead to prosecute anyone they could find that wanted safe and secure elections. Democrats have been relentless in their targeting of Tina Peters, a patriot who simply wanted to make sure that our elections were fair and honest. Tina is sitting in a Colorado prison for the crime of demanding honest elections. Today, I am granting Tina a full pardon for her attempts to expose voter fraud in the rigged 2020 presidential election.
What do you think of that, Mark?
It's nice to finally see it said by someone like President Trump, because those that know, those citizens that have been on the ground all across this country, that have looked into our elections and realized what none of us wanted to believe, that they are as big of a mess or worse than we thought they were. That we actually aren't able to verify our own elections, that they're a total disaster, that our elected officials and others that are in charge of maintaining these systems don't even know how they work. And that the truth is that the vendors are actually running our elections. It's not the people, it's not our elected officials, it's the vendors. And the entire thing is built on a pyramid of lies right from the top that everyone below just regurgitates. And it makes me sick to my stomach as a tech guy that understands the intricacies of these systems and understands the dangers, the vulnerabilities, understands how we are seeing certain things come out of them where most people don't understand the mechanics of them, so they don't understand how something like that could happen. I understand how it could happen. And it proves every warning from all of us cyber people that have been screaming at the top of our lungs for 5 years that there's a problem. We are living in a world full of the symptoms of those problems right now. And it all comes back to our elections. Every single thing comes back to elections. We are living in a society that is not reflective of the will of the people because the system that measures our will is being run by people that are not us.
Mark, what do we say about the people that are on our side? The Pam Bondis, the Todd Blanches of the world, the people that are in judgeships that have, I'll talk about Matthew Barrett, who denied Tina Peters her affirmative defenses specific to why she did what she did, and that basically they took the actions that were necessary that she did in order to have this investigation. She went to the IT department for Mason County first. They denied her the ability to do that image, right? So,
yes.
So how do you square all the things that they have done against the American people to hide this all these improprieties? How? Give me the.
I don't know how we do it. Clearly, these people don't want the truth out there.
They're on
Clearly,
our side,
they're
Mark.
more interested. What are they doing?
Nothing.
I mean, I'd like to see some action taken. We are over a year into this, not quite a year of transition time, et cetera. But we're about a year into the presidency. We still have irredeemably compromised election systems.
Yeah.
And we have elections coming up in a few months, starting, and then all next year. And we have not fixed the very mechanisms that are irredeemably broken, that there are people that know how to manipulate them, to adjust, manipulate, tamper with the will of the American people, which puts people in these positions of influence and power and laws that we all have to follow that are not reflective of our will. And if we go through one more election,
we have tax laws that have been passed. We have people put in positions, bureaucrats that have been selected and put in positions of trust and authority. We have judges that have been appointed that have acted as the henchmen for these people. I mean, we're in a place right now where they literally have stolen the voice of the people in almost every state.
I would say probably every state. I haven't found a state yet. I've been traveling all across the country. I have not found a state yet that has not had manipulation or symptoms of manipulation in our elections, even down to the county level. And I'm not saying that there were external or foreign manipulation.
You have local elections that are stolen.
But we've got local elections, absolutely, because the system is set up in a way that it's a toolbox to manipulate elections. So it's not like only one entity can manipulate the elections using the system. It's a set of tools. And if you know how to use the tools, you can manipulate the system. How on earth do we have an election system that anyone can put their hands in the cookie jar and manipulate the outcome? And that's exactly what we've got, like Carbon County, Montana. With it, you got a clerk there that in 2022 was in there in the middle of the night shredding ballots. And she didn't hack the election system to manipulate the votes. She just went old school. But because the citizens have been removed from the elections, because the computers have replaced the citizen oversight, she was able to exploit that fact to be in there with the computers by herself. All she did was shred ballots, went in and tabulated the rest of the ballots, and she won. So what happens when you have a clerk that is a dirty
catch her?
clerk that ends
Did
up
they catch
doing
her?
that?
Did they catch her?
Okay. They so it went, the citizens that caught her in video, we have her on video doing this. They went to the commissioners. Commissioners kicked him out of their office. Went to the sheriff. The sheriff said, you got to talk to the attorney general. They went to the attorney general. The attorney general said, you got to talk to the sheriff. So they got this, and they have no resolution. And now their county is taken over. Of course, the commissioners aren't going to do anything about it, because who's the most powerful person in the county? It's not the sheriff. The most powerful person in the county is who counts the votes. And when you have a clerk that's dirty, that's in charge of the election system, that clerk chooses who the commissioners are. That clerk chooses who the sheriff is. That clerk runs the whole county. That clerk position is the most powerful position in the county, and that's the problem. The people that should be in charge of the elections are the citizens. The citizens should be the most powerful people in the county, not this one entity that can sneak their way in, that no one has any way to get out.
Yeah. The story you just told, I probably need that information, because I need to be able to put that out there. You guys have the video of that, right?
I got video. Absolutely.
All right. So then we're going to force the DOJ. I'm headed to Washington, D.C. on the 21st. I want to force the DOJ to do something about it. I want to get them on the record saying that they won't go to Montana and take this county clerk and recorder out, that they will not arrest her for election crimes. Right? So Montana, we're coming.
I would love to see that. The FBI was sent the package prior to, this was last administration. The FBI did get all that information, but they have not acted on it. To date, nothing, as far as I know.
Okay. Who do we have the information related to this? I'd love to just.
I got all of
it. This time, first time I'm hearing it.
Every bit of it.
And that's how pervasive it is, by the way. Is it the fact that I didn't hear this is not that uncommon, because it's stolen everywhere, like everywhere.
It's all over. Well, Joe, you should watch my presentation someday, because if you did, you would have seen it.
I've watched your presentation in person, brother.
I know, but they changed. I keep updating them, because as I travel, I find more.
You gotta send it. Then you gotta send it to me, and so I can watch it.
Handcountroadshow.org. I mean, come on.
You gotta tell me when you upload something different. You can't just expect me just to show up.
Every upload's different. All right, so I will find that, though. We can actually, if you want to play the clip, I can find it and we can play it.
Play it, yeah. Pull it up.
It'll just take me a second here.
Okay,
good old Crystal.
While you're doing that, here's a post by Pat Colbeck. Let's put it up. Secretary of State Jena Griswold was quick to respond to President Trump's pardon of Tina Peters. Any doubt as to the importance of machines to Dems seeking to manipulate election results? They rigged the Colorado trial to put Tina away in prison for 9 years because she did her duty to preserve election records. Her actions led to the discovery of gross negligence and fraud, which have now been corroborated by Venezuelan whistleblowers. Time to have a frank national discussion as to who was truly violating election law and why, preferably after U.S. Marshals escort Tina back into the freedom she rightfully deserves. Bring it, Jena. You are the one belongs behind bars. Thank you, President Trump and Peter Tickton. Pretty interesting. Right? Right?
I love it. Yep, absolutely.
And then here, by the way, is the weasel, Phil Weiser. I want to play this real quick while you get that ready. Did you send it to me?
Phil Weasel.
Weasel Weiser.
Weasel Weiser. All right, I got the video.
Weiser. Did you send it to me?
No, I'll just play it.
Okay.
I'll throw myself over here.
Okay, hold on a second. We're gonna do. Hold on.
Okay.
Before you do that, I want to play this. This is Weasel Weiser's. We're not going to give in. Nah, you're going to go to prison, you little prick. Play it.
We have seen this on a number of issues where essentially the Trump administration will take action and dare a court to tell them that it is illegal. My question for you is, what we're seeing a legal maneuver, or do you view it as something else?
This president apparently thinks he can pressure and bully people to his will. That's not going to work in Colorado, because we honor the rule of law and believe in a system of justice that has existed in America since we became a republic, which is a system that no matter who you know, no matter what party you are accountable to the law. And that's how we're going to operate in Colorado. We're not going to give in. I've had to sue this president 45 times and counting because we keep getting these lawless demands, and we're winning again and again. Those who cave in, those who are folders, they're the ones who end up sacrificing. But as long as we stand strong, invoke the law, and do what's right, we're going to honor the system of justice we have here in Colorado.
How about that? By the way, that's
He
the
had
guy
to sue him.
That's the guy, by the way, that's responsible for $15 million in bribes. It's right in the middle of it. He's one of the most corrupt individuals. That little weasel is literally one of the biggest pieces of trash in the entire country. One of the worst. The worst. There's a lawsuit right now. $15 million. Yeah. He's going to prison. Okay,
well, he wants a lot of attention on him, so he's going to get it.
A lot. Go ahead and put Mark up full screen.
All right,
go
full.
Go ahead and play this video.
Here we go. Oh, I hope we have audio. But we don't need audio. I can actually explain it here if we don't. You let me know if we got audio.
We don't have audio.
Okay. So anyway, this is the Attorney General basically saying that he looked at the video and he can see her shredding ballots. So there she is, right there. November 8th, 2022, election night, Carbon County, Montana, Administrator Crystal Roacio shredding in the county commissioner's waiting area. And that's the paper shredder that's in front of her, not the tabulator. And how she got those ballots she's holding there, she went in with a stack of mail-in ballots to the room behind, in the back of the room there. She was in there for a while. Then she came out with ballots outside the envelope and is sitting there shredding. Now, she claims they weren't ballots, but what do you shred in the middle of the night where no one's there, when security doesn't even happen to be there? And you're running in the middle of an election, November 8th, she's running stuff through a paper shredder. Then she goes back in the room after that, grabs another stack of them, and then comes back out and walks over to the tabulator and then tabulates those votes. So keep watching her when she gets done with this pile here. I mean, she's bold, and I think there were 100 and something, 107. Let's see here. So she's walking from the shredder to the ballot receiving room now. There she goes. And then, of course, what this guy says, this Attorney General, says there's lots of explanations, but he says it certainly looks like she's shredding ballots. But there's nothing that he can do about it, is what he says. There we go. So I'll get you this, and I'll get you the original video.
Yeah.
Yep, not a problem. Not a problem. And some great citizens found it. And here's how they got it. This is actually pretty cool. What they did is they requested the video from the county, and she handed it all over. But what she did is she blacked out most of the video for her surveillance system. So she didn't just shut it off. She just left it on, but she blacked everything out except for the top sliver where the date and time were. And in that top sliver, this is how we know God is helping us on this, is right where the paper shredder was in the back of the room. So when you zoom in on that tiny little sliver at the top, and that's why it was a little fuzzy, you actually can see her do all this through that little sliver. So she thought she was being smart. She thought she had blacked it out. She didn't realize she released the video of herself actually shredding those.
So hold on a second. You're telling me that she put like black tape or covered up the camera?
Digitally. She went in digitally and she put a mask around it. And she claimed she put the mask for voter privacy, even though I didn't notice any voters in that room. It was the middle of the night. And she was working with the paper shredder.
So how did they know to ask the question? How did they know to get the video?
Because these two citizens are absolutely amazing. In fact, they're originally Colorado citizens. They left Colorado because they were sick of the corruption in Colorado. So they moved to this tiny little county in Montana to escape the election corruption. And they end up in the middle of a tiny little county in the middle of nowhere, full of even worse election corruption. And they started digging into their election systems. They started going to the logic and accuracy test and paying attention. And the first thing they noticed is during the logic and accuracy test of the voting system, they looked at the tabulators and they noticed the tamper evident seals that cover the screws for the tabulator had all been busted. So someone had opened up those tabulators and they went up to the clerk and said, hey, these tamper evident seals are all broken. And the clerk said, oh, it's no problem. They went to the commissioners and said, hey, there's a problem. Someone's been in our voting system. This shouldn't be certified any longer. And they said, there's no problem. So they brought me in. I went to that county. I sat in the commissioner's room with the 3 commissioners who share the same wall. All their desks are a couple of feet from each other in the same room. And I told them how dangerous it was that the seals were broken. That was indicative that someone had opened up the machines. And they said, it's not a problem. Get out of my office. So then the citizens kept pressing, and here's the answer they got. The tabulators had to be opened so they could be adjusted for altitude. They had to adjust the voting system to operate at the higher altitude that they were at. This is how stupid they think we are.
That's not even a real thing.
It ain't a thing. No. That's the excuse they gave.
This is the same thing as I say time drift on Tina Peters, right? Time drift. That all the problems caused in the separate databases and the MySQL management software and all that stuff was all caused by time drift. They didn't even address any of the problems.
They didn't even address it. They just wanted to excuse it away, and they didn't want anyone looking, so they could just say, oh, we debunked it. But their answer is bullshit. They are flat out lying to all the citizens, and the worst of it is they're lying to the people that actually would give a shit if they knew the answer. If they knew the truth, they would care and do something. But they are believing the bullshit coming from the state of Colorado about this. It's disgusting. Yes. I hate liars. Absolutely hate liars.
So here's my issue, Mark, is that you have people that literally look at themselves and say, fame. That, I mean, they're you people on our side. I want to say people on our side that use Tina as a, how would you say it? A
means
tool
to raise money.
Yeah. And then they get out there and they tout the fact that they're Christians. They tout the fact that they're on our side. Yet these same people have brought some of the ridiculousness and things that have caused credibility issues that are tied to the election systems. Same people. These same people are responsible for the reason why. See, Tina Peters, here's the part that bothers me the most. She didn't have to, she could have gone in there like strutting her stuff like she was Conor McGregor. She could have walked in, made a copy of an image of the deal, left the cameras on, walked in. You could have done it, Mark.
I would have.
So why the bullshit? And why is the bullshit always tied to the other guys that are full of bullshit?
Because they are liars.
These are the same
they don't
people
want the
that
people
took
to
money
know.
from me. That, you know, I worked for free for 3 years. That I watched do really bad things. I mean, look, Mark, I'm just upset. I'm upset over the fact that, and I'm not upset. I think Tina Peters is going to get out. I think the marshals are going to do what they're going to do. I think we're going to get to the point where they get her out. Period. I mean, they're not going to take no for an answer. Right?
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I will say that there's a lot of people that have been caught up in this entire thing. And most all of us had no clue what the heck we were getting into. We didn't understand the environment. We didn't understand the bad actors. No one had an instruction manual how to deal with rampant election fraud in our country.
Yeah.
And there were people absolutely that were there that were putting people in positions, vulnerable people in vulnerable positions, and that we're deceiving them. And so we got a pyramid of lies within our side as well, unfortunately, passed on lies. But there are people at the very top that I would love some answers from. And it's not like I know all of it. I knew probably 95% of it, but there's still that 5 I don't know yet. And I want to figure it out. People that are just caught up in a lie told by someone else, or that are a victim of a lie, I'm not going to hold them fully accountable. Did some people make some decisions that I don't think were the smartest of decisions or the best decisions to make, or would I have made them? No. I think people have made some mistakes in this. I'm not going to throw them into the same pot as Phil Weiser and Polis, but we're going to have to have some compassion for the position that a lot of people have been put in through this, and I think we have to have some forgiveness for some people once we finally get through this. But we have to pay attention to who's actually on our side, and sometimes people on your side, sometimes they kind of poke you in the back. It's kind of annoying, but they're still on your side. I wouldn't say stab.
I'm still alive, so I guess it's like they stab you
with a sharp object. Yeah,
I think it maybe is like a nail file from a toe clipper.
I try not to judge someone until I've walked 1,000 miles in their shoes. So I'm not gonna make some certain statements about certain people until let's let the dust settle and figure it all out. And I'm willing to forgive some people if they come correct and do the right thing in the end. If they make it right, which they know what they need to do, I'm willing to forgive, and I hope they do that. But we got a few more miles we got to go in this process to right what's wrong in our nation. And I'm gonna stick in it.
Well, I want to put this up there because you put this up and I grabbed it immediately and reshared it. But this is the post on Polis on Tina. Let's put up 4.
My favorite guy.
Tina Peters was convicted by a jury of her peers. Do you believe that?
Nope.
Prosecuted by a Republican district attorney. Do you think that Dan Rubenstein is a Republican?
I have no idea where he would even get that. Polis, I'm pretty sure, appointed him, and
no,
if he would, he didn't appoint. Okay.
No. Just so you know, when you say that someone is a Republican or a Democrat, you've lost me at hello. Because
it doesn't matter.
Leadership was selected.
You look at either you're being truthful or you're not. I couldn't care less what party someone is.
Yeah.
I just want someone that hunts for the truth. And you'd think a DA would want to hunt for the truth. We've got truth. We got plenty of truth. We've got forensic images. We got all the truth in the world. Literally, I'm one of the lead forensic guys on her case. Did Dan call me? Did Rubenstein call me and say, "Hey, Mark, I'd like your input on this. Can you go through this and tell me what your thoughts are on this?" No, nothing. All he did was attack Tina.
Well, and it says here, and found guilty of violating state laws, including criminal impersonation. Was Sharona Bishop arrested?
I don't know. I know her house was raided. I don't know if she's arrested or not.
Okay. Was Conan Hayes arrested? Charged?
I have never heard of him being arrested or charged.
Did Tina Peters make the image?
No.
Yeah. So the people that made the image didn't get arrested. The people that used the ID didn't get arrested, but Tina did for impersonating someone because she gave messages.
Yep, and it wasn't illegal to take the image either. It was perfectly legal for her to take that image.
Which, by the way, leads me down to the path of this. Why did they create such a nefarious environment for Tina Peters to get that image?
Yeah.
Right? They're in on
it.
I mean, look, either they're in on it or they're really, really bad people. But,
I've made really bad judgment calls over and over again.
But they weren't arrested. They still got to hang out for Thanksgiving with their family.
It is odd. It is odd. And I think in that 5% that I don't fully understand, that last 5, they're in that last 5. I'd like to know why.
Yeah.
I really would.
Me too. So the president has no jurisdiction over state law nor the power to pardon a person for state convictions. This is a matter for the courts to decide, and we will abide by the court orders. You think Polis is just a little bit scared right now?
I think Polis knows exactly what he's done for decades.
Yeah.
And of course, he would have to be. Now, he's not going to act like he's scared, so he's puffing up his feathers right now. But we know, and more people are going to know the truth. His hands aren't clean. He's got a lot of skeletons. It's all going to come out. There's nothing he's going to be able to do to stop it, no matter what he does. In fact, everything he's doing right now is only making things worse for him. And that's okay. If he wants to make things that much worse for him, by all means, he can do that. It'll make what's coming, that much more enjoyable when he gets fully exposed. When he could turn things around right now. If he wanted to, he could take some steps to turn things around. I've offered him. This is an opportunity for him.
You know that's not even a thing. Holy crap, that's a huge spider. Hold on a second. It's now dead. Got it. Hope it wasn't a drone. I saw a huge spider go across the thing, and I'm looking at it. Like,
you just cost someone about $1 million, Joe.
Yeah. Well, if it was a drone spider, it's dead. I should probably tell Alex Jones that I killed your spider. So here's what we have. Tina Peters, Real Tina Peters, which is run by a really amazing woman, put this post up on to tell us everything you need to know about what happened. What everyone needs to know, the state of Colorado broke federal law. Why? The evidence Tina Peters preserved was required by federal law. Judge Matthew Barrett refused to let the jury hear Tina's defense during trial. That is true. 41 motions were denied, preventing the jury from hearing the truth. Clerk Peters is the only clerk in Colorado to preserve proof of deletion of election records from the 2020 presidential election by Colorado Secretary of State Jena Griswold. Free Tina Peters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He preserved it, and the data on those drives, on those images, leads me to want to ask a lot of questions of Dominion. And what should have happened after Mesa reports 1, 2, and 3 were put out is Rubenstein should have said, hey, Dominion, this is kind of strange. Let's get everyone together and figure out what actually happened here. But they didn't do that. They should have had Tina, me, Jeff O'Donnell, Walter Doherty, Doug Gould, along with Dominion, Jena Griswold, all of the above, sit down and let's take a look at this and figure out what happened. But they didn't do that. They had every opportunity to do it. All they did was attack Tina.
Because
and everyone associated
they had to cover up
with
the
her.
crime.
Of course.
They're all, I mean, literally all in on it.
They weren't interested in getting to the truth. They were just interested in covering up the truth.
So what kind of system do we operate in then, Mark? If that's the reality, if they could just make up things on the fly and say misinformation, disinformation, and get with guys like Matt Crane, who, by the way, have zero institutional knowledge of any systems. I mean, do you think he has any knowledge of how a system works?
He probably has some, but intrinsically, no. As much as I know, no way. And where's Chris Beal? Chris, why'd you disappear all of a sudden? And why, as the Deputy Secretary of State under Jena Griswold for years, why would Chris Beal just disappear, no announcement, and be replaced with a guy named Andrew Klein? And Andrew Klein came from Perkins Coie. Isn't it strange that Colorado replaces their Deputy Secretary of State, who knows where all the bodies are buried, and hires an attorney from Perkins Coie law firm to be the new Deputy Secretary of State for Colorado? So basically, do we have Perkins Coie running Colorado's elections now? Is that what we got going on?
Why would that be a real thing? I mean, it literally is a cartel. Weird. It's a cartel.
It's pretty strange. Yeah.
It's a cartel. So
it's a cartel.
I mean, again, we have to call it what it is, right? I mean, we're having this conversation, and you have people that are out there that are really scared, and you have bots that are working overtime, dropping stuff and saying, "Oh, you can't just state crime." I'm thinking to myself, you guys are scared. You should be scared, because sooner or later we're going to rip the Band-Aid off and just be done with the pleasantries. Just be done.
It's the election industrial complex.
It's not, though. It's not just that. It is literally a shadow government that is controlling every aspect of Americans' lives.
Well, the shadow government runs the election industrial complex. They also run the media industrial complex.
That means that they run the country. You realize that, right?
Yes. Of course I do. Our country is not run by our government. What we're living in is a facade, and this is going to be the tough thing for a lot of people to realize and come to terms with. We have all been living a lie. We just didn't know it. There has been a shadow control of this entire nation for a long time, decades and decades and decades. And that shadow control, that group isn't going to want to let up. And it's not just one group, but it's a multitude of different groups that gain different things from being able to do it. And whether it's blackmail, bribery, or threats, which they pretty much own all our politicians, then they use the electronic voting systems and the entire election ecosystem to pick and choose who those politicians are. So when it was just the citizens, they had to rely on blackmail, bribery, and threats to get them to do what they wanted them to do. But it's much easier. The easy button for them is the electronic voting systems, because now they can put their own people in these positions so they don't have to rely as heavily on the blackmail, bribery, and threats. And that's why they don't want to let it go, because it's so much easier for them to control a nation when they can control the laws and the people in charge of running it. That's why they don't want to let it go. And that's why they threw Tina Peters in prison for 9.5 years, because she threatened to expose their deep, dark secret. And that's what we're up against.
Well, she did expose it. And the media hit it. And they pick and choose winners and losers.
Mm-hmm. And they didn't want any other clerks to do it. So they put her in prison, punished her excruciatingly to scare every other clerk from daring to question or look at their own systems. And as I've traveled around the country, I've met with a lot of clerks, and a lot of them have told me they don't want to be Tina Petered. They have concerns. They've got questions. They see things that aren't right. They want to look deep, but they're too afraid to be Tina Petered. So when they went and attacked Tina, and as Barrett said, as an example, it worked. It worked. It scared the you-know-what out of a whole lot of clerks out there. And what I would tell the clerks out there is, you took an oath, and the time is now to do the right thing. And this is our one opportunity. If you got something that's concerning you, stand up right now. We all stand together, and we scream the truth together, and we fix this right now, because we're not going to get another opportunity. They know we know now, right? It's up. So this is a fight to the end right now, and this is our moment, and it's our only one.
So this is a post that I put up. This is something I said on Monday. I had some intimate knowledge on the next one. We're going to put the video up. I said basically standoff is on. President Trump issued a pardon. He's going to come next. So there's a video that I did on Monday, and I did this, and I said the dam is about to break in Colorado. I want to play that really quick.
Let's get into, because today's going to be kind of a different day. We're going to talk about Tina Peters. I know there's some things that are happening right now with Tina. I truly believe that she's going to be out. Jena Griswold, at a minimum, will be the first one to be arrested in Colorado. I think she's going to spend a couple decades in prison. Then you have to look at Jared Polis and Phil Weiser, who's probably the most corrupt out of the three of them. And then what's going to be the consequence for someone like Dan Rubenstein? And then what about, who was a DA in Tina's deal? And then what about Matthew Barrett, the judge? And the investigators that hid information. And then there's this other guy, Matt Crane, whose wife worked for Dominion and Sequoia before Dominion with Eric Coomer for nearly 18 years. So, you know, as I started putting together this puzzle and looking at who's who, and I just started to get to a place where I went, okay, maybe, just maybe, it's all going to come crashing down. But
it's going to come crashing down. Because the state's not putting up with anymore. The country's not going to put up with anymore. We're done.
Done.
We're done.
Donezo.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And especially when the people in the middle that just don't know the truth, that have believed these lies for so long, when they realize the real truth, when they realize that the people they trusted had been lying to them for years and decades, gaslit them, got them to commit all kinds of crimes themselves, got them to, with these lies, destroy relationships, alienate their friends. Oh man, I'm going to get my popcorn. Because there's a whole lot of people that believe the lies. And there are even people on the right that have believed the lies. There's people on the right that think, you know, Tina did wrong because they don't know the truth. And so many people don't even know what to believe anymore because there's so much crap out there. There's so much deception, so much misinformation, and sometimes the misinformation is just people embellishing. That they're not doing it for a bad reason, but they just embellish. And everyone's so thirsty for answers, they grasp at the first thing. What we have to do is we've got to go back to the source. We've got to go back to the cold hard facts, the black and white truth, and base everything on that. We have two different realities here as well. If you look at that, we've got one reality, we'll say that on the left, these people think that Trump is this horrible person, this Nazi, this fascist, et cetera, and everyone associated with him is this and that. Well, the media has done a fantastic job at creating that perception in their minds. And I call it mass deception-induced psychosis. And there is mass deception. It's psychological deception, and it's years and years and years deep. It's very effective, and it's got good people absolutely crazed because they base their entire belief on fabrication of lies. Lie on top of lie on top of lie, but they don't see the lies. They just think that's the truth. And they doubled and tripled down on it. So these are probably very good people, but they have their entire understanding of the world around them is all based on a multitude of lies that they have been told. So they don't understand it. It's like, they look up like someone that's colorblind. They can't see colors. These people can't see the truth. And then we've got the other side that has seen the truth and understands all this, that took the red pill and can see all of it clearly. Two totally different realities. And here's how you tell what's right, which one's right and which one's wrong. Take each one and drill down to find the truth. Drill down to find what caused it at the very beginning, the root cause, the root of that belief. And when you do that, you'll find one is based on hollow lies and one is based on real truth. And the one that's based on real truth is the right reality.
Mark, we've been on this show before, and we've flipped votes inside the system. We've talked about what Jeff Lindbergh's done. We've uncovered, and you were a part of writing the 3 reports for the Mesa County reports.
1 and 2 were my work, with Doug Gould. Yeah.
And then we did this thing at the symposium back in 2021, where we were able to prove that with Draza Smith, the flipping of votes that can happen within the Dominion system. All that was proven.
Easily, yes, absolutely.
Right.
The tools, the backdoors are built into the system by Dominion. Absolutely, 100%. I got all the proof. I could show it all day long. There is zero question that these backdoors are built in. And they even open the holes in the firewall. Yeah.
So who would have built them in? I mean, the chief architect in Sequoia Voting Systems that was transferred over to Dominion Voting System, his name was Eric Coomer. He was there from day one. Smartmatic went and hunted down a drug addict that was doing websites for small businesses and said, we're going to make him our chief architect. Does it all check with you?
It could have. Yeah. It would have to have been someone that's been at Dominion for a long time to do it, because those back doors have been in those images for a very long time. That architecture's existed for a long time. So it's not someone who just showed up last month. It's someone who's been around at Dominion for a very long time that would have been able to do it.
Who went county to county and city to city selling Dominion?
Is that Eric Coomer?
Yeah. You've seen the videos. Who was the one that was a spokesperson for Dominion Voting Systems? Which is, by the way,
is it Eric Coomer?
Who was the guy? I mean, so I remember in 2006, CFIS looked into Sequoia and says, you actually have to sell. You're bad. These are bad actors. It was because of the crimes
in
2006. Sequoia.
Do people know that Sequoia Voting Systems, right? Also Denver, Colorado, previous to being renamed Dominion, right? Or changing to Dominion. Sequoia used to fly in Venezuelan developers to program their systems. And I was told this far before I ever heard anything about this recent Venezuela stuff. This is years ago, 4 years ago, when I'm talking to someone you've actually interviewed that used to work at Sequoia right by Eric Coomer, side by side, Eric Coomer. And I couldn't figure out why the heck would a voting system company in Denver, Colorado be flying in people from Venezuela to program their system. That is the most bizarre thing ever. Like, we can't find our own developers. They can't find developers in Colorado.
24 of them into Chicago. I mean, and this is where it gets into information that we had related to this. And I ran his doctorate thesis. I ran the whole thing again. I ran it through a couple of LLMs that I had to do myself because they all started shutting it down. So I went to ChatGPT and I said, hey, hypothetically, show me, this is the doctorate thesis, this is what happened in the election, here's some cast vote records. Does it mimic it? Right? And it mimicked it perfectly, 0.99, 0.98, 0.97, right? That's a pretty, I mean, that
almost one.
Yeah, that checks, right? So then I went and said, okay, well, let's build a program so we can examine all the cast vote records in different states to see if there's any sort of anomalies in different states. Do that. So I wrote this old Substack that I sent to you before, and you're like, holy shit. Now, a lot of this stuff you've already done, Mark. You've uncovered and said, okay, here's this vulnerability. You've been on the road now for 4 years, right?
Yeah.
Since 2021, you've been on the road.
Driving for 3, and the first 2 were flying constantly.
And you've been rear-ended. You've been broken into. You've had your tires flattened. Yep. You've had the frame of the whole thing come off. You've had to stop at Home Depot and literally put it back together with duct tape.
I've had a Walmart semi-truck back into me.
Ugh.
Yes. In fact, I'm at a Home Depot parking lot right now because my pipes froze last week. And so I had to pull the whole underbelly apart to fix a bunch of freeze damage and fix it. So yeah, it's not fun. In fact, police showed up this morning asking why I was still here. And the manager had to tell them, hey, he's bought a lot of stuff from here so he can stay for a little bit. Yeah, it's not been fun, but I'll tell you what, no matter what I've been through, Tina Peters has been in prison for over a year, locked in a cage for preserving election records from a crooked, rigged 2020 election, for staying strong, standing up, even when Griswold gave her the deal that just admit everything was wrong, admit the voting systems are fine, and we'll drop it all. And Tina would not sell out to a criminal. God bless her.
Yeah, they actually said if you just sign this deal, we'll be done. They did that.
They did.
So here's what Peter Tickton had to say. He responded to President Trump issuing the pardon. My team, John Case, Patrick McSweeney, Robert Sinkar, Stephanie Lambert, Tina herself, and I are grateful beyond words to President Trump for his courage and once again doing what is right. He has always been true to his belief and continues to fight against injustice. God bless our president. And this is a response, by the way, to Polis. Governor Polis and his Secretary of State, Jena Griswold, claimed that Tina Peters belongs in prison. However, she is actually a political prisoner. Why else would a 70-year-old lady convicted for victimless white-collar crimes be held in the maximum security unit of a prison where she has the smallest cell of about 7 square feet for her cellmate and her next to their beds? In fact, since midday on Monday, she has been in the hole. Solitary confinement is such a cruel punishment that has caused the most extreme monsters to behave themselves and comply with the rules. Yet she has been in solitary confinement not for doing anything wrong, but for perceived protection. The governor says that he will abide by the judgment of the courts. However, the process of litigation takes time, and Tina Peters needs to be released while the legal issues are being resolved. The governor has no way to know which way the courts will decide the issue of whether President Trump has the right to pardon prisoners who are convicted of state offenses. As such, he has no right to hold her. It is not an option for him to hold someone in prison when he cannot know if she should be released or held. That issue should always be determined in favor of the individual who is incarcerated. He has no right to keep a person in prison because she may belong there. If he does, he is, by at the very least, imprisoning a pardoned lady, which has serious legal ramifications and liabilities. The fact of the matter is that those in power, such as Governor Polis and his Secretary of State, Jena Griswold, became lulled in their echo chambers to be blind to the fact that their situation is changing. Today, these folks are in charge, but tomorrow, they are going to be held accountable. This is especially true for Jena Griswold, who is the one who's wiped and rewrote the hard drives of Dominion hard drives when she had the trusted build installed. Instead of fighting to have Tina Peters in prison, she should realize that her time is limited before she may be in handcuffs herself. After all, her deletion of the hard drives was a violation of federal law. It is so ironic that when the one who destroyed evidence is taking a harsh position, that the one who was preserving the evidence remains in prison. If they have any smarts at all, they would stop their silly games of wrongful imprisoning an innocent woman for whom half this country is celebrating the party of President Trump granted. Yep. What did I say on Monday?
Why? Those are wise words.
Peter Tickton was on last week. He is an amazing dude.
He is. Peter's a good guy. And he's right. And he sees it clearly. So I mean, come on, 9.5 years of prison. And what do they even claim she did? Even if she did what they claimed, impersonation?
Yeah.
To make a backup of the voting records, which she, by law, has to retain anyway. 9.5 years for that. Give me a break. How many people has Colorado released? Cold, hard criminals have they released back into the streets of Colorado that have gone on to commit more crime and have even killed people? How many? None of them got 9.5 years.
Well,
ridiculous.
The idea of what they're dealing with right now, I think, has more to do with the fact that you're. Sorry, I just got a bunch of emails saying that we were not on Facebook again. Missing opportunities, guys. Missing opportunities. I want to put this up, Mark, because I want you to tell me if I'm wrong. And I'm sorry I'm taking this time from you to do this because I do want to hear some of the other things that I have a bunch of other stuff that I want to run by you, right? That have to do with kind of what's next. But I built that Substack post, and then I got calls. I got calls from everyone that says, Joe, stop, because I was going to put out a second report. I had all this information I was going to drop. And they're like, stop. Don't do that. And I go, why? And they're like, well, all these people are working on things. And I'm like, okay, they're working on things. I can't put anything else out. Can I leave this one up? They're like, no, take it down. I was like, I will not. But when I put this up, it's Eric Coomer from drug-addicted Satanist skinhead to the heart of election controversies. I sent it to you, and you're like, okay. That's another point in all of it. So you have the system. They said that there's no proof. You flip votes on this deal with this, which is just plugging in a drive, right?
Yeah. Not even that. There are many ways to do it. Yeah, plugging in a USB flash drive is one way. Opening up the software that's already on the system that's built in is another way. There's not even. I mean, you don't even go. It's not even. You don't even need rootkits. It's that easy. There's another hidden backdoor, another script. There's a web server running on them. I mean, Eric is right. He's been right about a few comments he's made. When he said we're so broken all over the place, he's absolutely right. Dominion, horribly broken. And when he said we suck, he was right. Absolutely, Dominion, you suck. I'll agree with Coomer on that.
So let's go back to this. In '97, he completed his PhD thesis on plasma decay. Modeling.
Smart guy, huh?
Yeah, he's very smart. He's very smart.
Yeah, he's very smart. In fact, he's smarter than most people. He's smarter 100%. Than 99.999% of people. Incredibly high IQ individual. Yeah, there's no question.
So he has a model for gradual erosion foundation, the theoretical decay algos in later patents. So kind of goes through some of that in 2000. In 2000, Smartmatic, founded in Florida, Curtis's firm creates a rigged prototype for Feeney, Congressman Feeney. Mm-hmm. Clint Curtis, he testified in 2004. Chavez wins a referendum amid a fraud. So everyone, including us here, Bizta investment, 28% stake in a Venezuelan stake in Smartmatic. So that happened in 2004, right? So in 2004, we were talking about the fact that Chavez, there's no way that Chavez won. They were talking about it. There's no way. They use these systems, the Smartmatic system.
Hint, we may have corrupt elections. Right then, we should have paid more attention. Yeah.
But we knew at that point. Signaling was done.
Some people knew. Yeah.
Curtis testified on rigged software, Florida origins. Everything happens in Florida. It's crazy. Everything originates in Florida, which, by the way, has been red since the beginning of time. Just so we're clear. April of 2005, Coomer is cold called. His words, he was cold called, recruited to Sequoia as the chief architect under Smartmatic. Okay?
Totally normal.
They acquired it in March of 2005. So a month later, they hire Eric Coomer. His background at the time, DUIs, jail, addiction, and a crazy work history. Now, this is the guy, granted, he wrote a PhD thesis. He was working for a website company that does websites for small to medium businesses. Is that your chief architect?
I would be shocked if someone that just does websites would be prime candidate for chief architect unless they had some other abilities.
Well, even if they had some other abilities, how do you grab a guy that literally almost went to jail for a couple decades or a decade? Let's say
because
those for 5 years.
Because the abilities that he might have might overwhelm that. And in fact, the fact that he's been to jail and maybe has a troubled history might be advantageous if you're looking for someone that would do certain things that an honest person may not.
So do you think a cold call came in, or you think the CIA called him? What do you think they did? Because now we already have the CIA links and the congressional links down in Venezuela, because we just had the whistleblower that basically testified to that, who was the head of intelligence under Chavez.
I think the call might have been a little lukewarm.
A little bit? Think? Maybe.
Little bit, probably,
right.
Yeah.
So not more than a year later, not even a year later, Sequoia glitches in Chicago. Dozens of Venezuelans flown in support staff from Venezuela. Coomer's at ground zero. He's there. Right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I haven't seen the proof of that, but it certainly could be true. Yeah.
It is true.
Yeah. Yeah.
CFIS probe investigates Smartmatic Venezuelan ties. Coomer software under scrutiny based on multiple points of failure. Did that happen?
I believe that it has. I don't have the proof in front of me, so I would love to see it all.
I probably should just send it all to you. Anyway.
Yeah.
As you get further down the line, and you go to 2009, 2010, 2013, what happened in Philippines with the same software. 2011 and 2015, the patents for adjudication. 2012, when we started talking about the breach allegations, interference in Mongolia's in Puerto Rico. Coomer is in leadership during all of these disputes. Every time you turn around, guess who's there?
Holy crap! You're right. He is there.
He's right behind you. Hello?
Every time I turn around. Creepy guy.
But my point is, take it down. My point is that, you know, we have all of these facts, and we run the stuff to see if one influences the other. Why would they go after a guy that has energy decay model experience? Because that's what you use for PID controllers.
Because that knowledge, that expertise would be very handy at producing results in an election that look very realistic to the naked eye. It would fool most people trying to examine the elections to make sure they weren't rigged. That type of knowledge would be crucial. So it doesn't surprise me at all that they hired someone with that knowledge.
Okay, so given all of that, given what happened to Tina, given the stuff you have in Montana, talk about the stuff that's in Nevada with Andy and Ed Solomon and the work that he's doing there. We can look at Colorado, even the most current elections. We have a huge investigation right now in Arapahoe County going on related to a couple of municipal elections, smaller races, not municipal races, not the municipal election. Why do you think there isn't an appetite somewhere for Pam Bondi, Todd Blanche, even anyone to stand up and say, okay, enough is enough, get rid of the machines, get rid of the mail-in ballots?
I don't know that there isn't. I just haven't seen any action yet. And I'll tell you, we are running out of time. The clock's ticking. And if they don't act quickly, then all I could assume is that they are covering to keep this entire system in place. So I haven't written them off yet. But in a couple months, if I don't see anything, I think that's the only explanation, because we couldn't have any more proof here. We literally have silver platter proof all over the country that we have irredeemably compromised systems. Any idiot could look at it at this point and realize this. And so I can't help but believe that they're smarter than idiots. So either they're trying to make sure everything is in place to do the right thing, and it's a timing thing, or it's not, and they're just kicking the can down the road. I pray that they're not. I really don't want to live in that country, that environment, that we have to realize that. But if that's the case, okay, that's fine. We've been through some rough times before in our country. But eventually the citizens are going to be done with the system. The citizens are going to say, nope, we're done. It's over. We have no say. We're not okay with that. This government is fake, and we're done. And I think we're very close to that. I really do. And I'm worried about
how do we undo the consequences, undo the people that are in positions of power? Do we go back and say, okay, the last 15 years, if you were appointed by anyone that had a fraudulent election, you're all out of a job. Get out of your position. We've now proven that the elections were stolen. We don't know which ones you are real. We're going to make sure we redo every election at every level. I mean, would that type of chaos create problems, or could it actually work?
I tell you what we could do. If we just acknowledge the situation that we're in right now, and we took immediate corrective action to put elections back into the hands of the citizens, we could work our way out of this it wouldn't take that many election cycles. In 2, 3, 4 election cycles, we could do it. And then we peel back all the people that are currently in positions of power that directly affected the elections in a negative way, that manipulated the elections or took part in the manipulation, even some of the indirect, and we could remove all of them from the current system. Then I think we could move forward with that. I don't think we need to go back 10, 15, 20 years. Now, as far as the laws go, if there are laws that were put in place as a result of manipulated elections, well, absolutely. I think we can re-examine all of those laws. And I think we put them back on the ballot again. We could do that. Nothing's stopping us from fixing this. Do we what?
Do you think if we end the Fed and do some of the other things that should have been done a long time ago, that'll also create a crashing effect? So the other fear that people have is that you make too many changes and it just collapses the facade of the system. Or is that what needs to happen?
Well, we have an opportunity. We have a small window. So we either rip the Band-Aid off and fix it and go through a short-term hard time for a much better long-term, or we sit and string this thing out for decades and never get a solution. Rip the effing Band-Aid off and let's just fix it. When we return elections to the people of the United States of America, everything will be better. Right now, everyone's pissed off, no matter what side you're on. You're hurting because our society is not reflective of your will. On the left and the right, it's run by people we, the people, did not elect. So if we fix that, everyone will end up being happier. All of the stuff that's putting all these people in this horrible position,
eventually
we will fix it. We will fix it. And the faster we rip the Band-Aid off and the more we fix initially, the faster the whole thing will happen.
So how do you fix the broken judiciary, though? And I know that as an IT guy, you're not, when you're looking at cybersecurity, that's not really at the top of your mind. But the judiciary is literally the kingpin behind all of the allowing these crimes to exist, right? I mean, they're putting criminals back on the street, and they're taking people like Tina Peters and denying her
putting them in prison.
Defense.
We've got to strip the bad out. Strip the bad out. And, it may need to be military. We may need some assistance from our military because our country has been taken over. It's been taken over by another entity. It is no longer run by the people. And so we've been invaded. The country's been invaded by an enemy. And when that happens, our military is supposed to be there to protect us. So I know it has all the ability to do it. And I certainly hope that that is what's going to happen, because if the military does not, then it's going to be left upon the citizens to have to deal with it. And I don't want that to have to happen.
I would agree with that. Scott Bottoms is running for office, and he had this to say about Tino. Let's go ahead and play it.
Hello, this is State Representative Scott Bottoms. We just got the news that President Trump has pardoned Tina Peters. We know this is on the federal level, and so Governor Polis, I'm telling you, you have an opportunity here. Do the right thing. Separate yourself from Secretary of State Griswold and Attorney General Weiser, and pardon Tina. Let her go. Let her go before Christmas. It's the right thing to do, and we're all watching to see if you'll do it. Let's reclaim Colorado for all Coloradoans.
Thoughts?
I agree. That's what needs to happen. I'll tell you what, like I said earlier, I'm willing to forgive people if they do the right thing. Polis has an opportunity to make right on a lot of wrongs he's committed, and that would go a long way. I would be willing to offer some forgiveness if he takes this as an opportunity to do the right things. If he doesn't, then I have no problem doing everything in my power to fully expose and hold him accountable for every single thing he's ever done. But he has an opportunity here. I think it would be a very smart thing for him to do, to take the spotlight off of him, to do the right thing, to show compassion. Plus, it's so obviously the right thing. Anyone that looks at this and actually looks at the facts and fairly adjudicates it is going to realize this. So what side of the fence does Polis want to end up being on? He's already got a lot of heat coming. He's already done a whole lot of very bad things for the state of Colorado. Does he want to be responsible for potentially killing Tina Peters as well? Does he really want that on him? The guy's getting up there. Does he want to go through the rest of his years knowing that he committed this atrocity when he had every opportunity to reverse it and do the right thing? At some point, there's going to be no option for him.
Well, I don't think there's any option left. I think that, you say that we can forgive. Let me just say this again. Can I forgive? I don't think I can. I can't forgive these people. I can't forgive the millions of Americans that died during COVID because they put them on ventilators and they knew it was going to kill them. I can't forgive the fact that Anthony Fauci allowed for a virus to come onto our borders, that they created a vaccine. That vaccine killed another million people and caused irreparable harm to tens of millions of Americans. I have trouble forgiving those people that would groom our children and turn them into furries. And
there's some people I won't forgive. Yeah, there's some people I won't forgive. But there's some forgiveness. Just because I offer some forgiveness for some people's actions doesn't mean I fully forgive everything they did. But I could find a little bit of forgiveness if people do the right thing. I mean, people have wronged you before.
Man, every day.
When they've wronged you,
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But have they ever come to you afterward and said, Joe, I screwed up. I treated you poorly. I'm sorry. I want to make it right. I'm sure that's happened to you before. And you've probably offered some forgiveness to them in some capacity. It's possible. People have wronged me as well. And I've had people that have wronged me years later come and apologize. And I've offered them forgiveness. No one's perfect. People do make some mistakes. And there's some absolutely evil people out there. And demons don't make mistakes. They do horrible things on purpose to cause people harm, hurt. But I do believe humans have the ability to distance themselves from the demons that have possessed their thoughts. And I think everyone in God's eye has the ability to right their wrongs and change their path. Even Polis. And I would love to be able to forgive him for this. I would love him to stand up and do the right things. Beg for forgiveness and come clean and repent. I would love to see that.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Okay. I'll do it for you.
I mean, I know. And look, I mean, Mark, you know that I love the Lord. I love Jesus. And I love the fact that we can be forgiven. There's things that I've done that, you know, I don't know. It's not a victimless crime. And these choices have stolen livelihoods. I mean, they've wreaked havoc on the lives of Americans. And we've had to watch it happen from the sidelines. 1,600 people.
Polis is governor right now. Polis could
he's not really the governor.
Completely change direction.
He's illegitimate. I mean, we don't
even
know
if he's illegitimate, right? Even if he's illegitimate, even if he's taking instructions from other people, even if he was groomed since he was in his 20s, which, yes, we know about all that, Jared. Even if, with all that stuff, if he had a moment of clarity and wanted to change direction, he's in a unique position to be able to do that. He could stand up and he could flip this whole thing on its head. He could actually turn whistleblower if he wanted to. He knows what's been going on. He's been a part of this. He's been on the inside of this. He just took a very bad path. I can't imagine he lives a happy life. I'm guessing he's pretty miserable as a person to be able to do all these things. Maybe he wants to live a happy life. Yeah, maybe he wants to turn things around. Maybe he hasn't even considered. Maybe he thinks he's too deep, too far in, that he couldn't change. Maybe he thinks that people wouldn't forgive him if he did the right thing. I think if he, in the position he's in, if he sat and said, you know what, I've done some very bad things. I'd like to make all these corrections. I'd like to put elections back in the hands of the people of Colorado. I'd like to hold people accountable. I'd like to absolutely let Tina out. And I'd like to right all these wrongs. I would give him the runway to do it. I wouldn't stand in his way at all. I would clap and I would help him do that if he decided he wanted to go down that path rather than the current one that he's on. Because I tell you, the end of that path, he's not going to enjoy.
And I take it to this. Are they acting as if they have, because you know they don't have courage, right? You know they don't.
It's fake.
But we also know that, like, the FBI is, you know, it's brought into the core too. We don't actually know who's in charge of the country. I mean, somebody's running the elections. So who is that? Who's that person?
Well, we got two groups in charge of the country, right? We've got the shadow group, and then we've got the citizens that are trying to grasp what's left. They're trying to hold on to this very slippery thing and try to get their hands on it again. We probably haven't really had our hands on it for decades. Yeah.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
All right, my brother, thanks for joining me. Anything you want to tell people other than to go to tinapeters.us and give her some money?
Go to tinapeters.us, give her some prayers.
Yes.
Pray that the right thing is done. Pray that all the evil people and people that have made mistakes, pray that they'll have some moments of clarity, and pray that they will decide that they want to make better decisions and that they want to put themselves in a better position and put others in a better position, right their wrongs, and pray that we get elections back in the hands of the people of this country so we can truly have real liberty, not just the facade of liberty. Even this guy right here, I would love to get on the show someday, and we'll hammer it all out.
Hammer it all out. Yeah. I can tell you what that
not that kind of hammer. Not that kind of hammer. You know, I got to actually see him for the first time, and he got to see me. At court. Yeah, he was much pudgier than he is in this image here. I couldn't believe how much weight he gained. Must be stress eating.
Yeah, it has to be the stress eating. Why would you be stressed? If you're telling
well, I think he's stressed because he knows what's going on,
and he knows we know, and he knows we've been able to prove it over and over and over again. So there's just nothing left. I mean, I was telling my attorneys this. I was like, listen, I got some other stuff that I have to put together for him, and I go, the gig's up. Like, this is, and the judges are trying to get their last pound of flesh, and I'm like, I want to sue them. So I got to go. I went and met with a couple of attorneys over the last couple of days on the defamation lawsuits and things like that we're filing against 9 News and Kyle Clark and like a gaggle of other people, and whether or not we do it in the federal court, and what does that mean, and where are we going to file it?
Sign me up for that. I got a few people I'd like to throw on the list too.
I mean,
I'll join you.
But the things that they've done are not victimless crimes, and attacking my wife and attacking my children and coming to my house and threatening our lives over and over and over again. I mean, Mark, you've been in the middle of this. It never ends. Like, these people, they're diabolical. They killed Charlie Kirk. You can just go down the line. They tried to assassinate President Trump. Right? These are really diabolical, crappy, terrible human beings.
They're demons. I don't know if they are humans. If they are humans, they're possessed.
Yeah.
These are demonic forces. Normal people don't do this kind of stuff. Normal people don't deceive and take advantage and hurt and kill people. Normal people do not do that. This is something far beyond it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Also, you can actually go to Hand Count Roadshow, and you can support Mark.
.org.
Yeah. .org, sorry. Handcountroadshow.org. And I got to go over there and now watch another one of his shows, because he's like guilting me on the show and telling me I didn't watch it, which I didn't. But he doesn't.
Click the purple button at the bottom there. Watch the Ventura County one.
Yeah, I'll do that. Actually,
I'll get you some even more current stuff. Don't worry about it.
Here's what I'd also like to do for all of you. Guys, in the thing, can we set this schedule up for Friday or Saturday and Sunday to play the Ventura Hand Count Roadshow online, so we can go through and just play it? Can we play it Saturday, Sunday? Put it on all the channels. Thank you, I appreciate it. So
I want to do another thing, by the way. I talked to you about this. We're going to do a Rocky Mountain Heist Day.
All right.
We are going to show next month, January. We are going to simulcast Rocky Mountain Heist. We're going to get all the podcasters all around, not the state of Colorado only, the entire nation, and we are all going to watch Rocky Mountain Heist together, because everyone in this country needs to know who the Gang of Four are and what they did to Colorado.
Hey, so how do you feel about Jeffrey Filial, who said it's not the machines?
It's all of the above.
But
it's simple. It's the whole thing. It's the whole thing.
Mark is way too much of a nice guy. He even is nice to shit people, and I'm just not.
Until they push me too far.
Yeah. But I mean, it's you just have so many of them. There's like so many people that are just not good people. So it's yeah.
There are, but there's a lot of good people out there.
Man, there's a lot.
There's a lot of people. That's what we're doing this for.
Relationships. I think some of the best people I've ever met in my life, I've met through this. And I became an uncle to a bunch of kids, Allie's kids, Jason's kids. I mean, I would protect them the way, I mean, I've just found I found a family in a lot of this. So
we all have.
Yeah.
We've all found each other. We've met people throughout this that we never would have met before. I mean, the circumstances would have been nicer, had they not been this.
In a non-gay way.
Yes. And
although he's touching you.
We're gonna.
He's touching you.
He's touching you. Oh God! Get your hands off me, Coomer.
By the way, every now and then you'll get Spicy Mark, and he'll put something on. He's like, "Hey, Coomer!" And I'm like, "Get him!"
My inner Joe comes out once in a while.
Yeah, it's hard for it not to. I just frankly believe that you have to be authentic, right? And I'm just not gonna. I'm gonna press on every button. I'll be really nice to everyone until you're not nice, and then if you're not nice, I'm not nice. But yeah, thanks, Mark. I appreciate you very much.
You appreciate you as well. Thank you and your whole team. Thank you, guys.
All right, God bless you. Whew. Well, I'm gonna make this one a short one today, and because I have, I'm just going to take a little time. Today's Friday. I'm going to try and see if I can get up and meet with Tina, go do that. I got a phone call yesterday. So sometimes my information's good. Sometimes it's like wishful thinking. And so I was on the phone with Jared, and I'm like, Jared, I think they're going to go take her out tonight. And it turns out they didn't take her out last night, or I would have found out about it today. But the more and more we see coming out and the cases, I just want you to know something. I don't have any interest in not talking about consequences. I don't have any interest in you telling me that I can't call for the death penalty in cases of treason and sedition. And when I wrote that post, I was driving back from a friend's house, and I saw a post that was on Victor Marx's page. And I like Victor Marx. He's running for governor of Colorado. He says a lot of things I like. He's an absolute showman. But somebody put up a post on one of his pages and some woman says that, I don't want to see anybody put up memes or about what's happening with Tina. And, we're not going to call for the death penalty. And it was in reference to me. And I've seen these rumblings out there of what I've said. And I'm just going to tell you that silence is violence. Letting violent people, evil people, do violence to Americans. That little 7-year-old boy that we put up yesterday that was murdered in cold blood, who now his killer is a free man, who stabbed 3 other children and stabbed the father who had to fend him off and had to walk in there to find his lifeless body of his son. In essence, you're saying, it's okay. Let me virtue signal. When you sit here and you can't have a conversation with me, or you put stuff up that says, oh, it's bad what they're doing to migrants, it's racist, and you step on the bodies of veterans that have done things for America, that have protected our homeland and have, worked in foreign environments to weed out whatever evil they're assigned to get rid of. And I believe there is evil all over the world. When you step on their bodies and say that illegals are more important than they are, you're sending an entire message to the American people. When you demonize white people, when you allow for the educational environment to be infested with radical, leftist, racist, whatever you want to call it, brainless twits, people that really don't have a high IQ, and then say that somehow that person that talks this way, that supposedly got a PhD, that person I'm supposed to hold in high esteem. You're going to catch some resistance in this country. Like, it's not, we're not interested in any of this kabuki theater that we're dealing with. But when you do all that and you virtue signal and you walk past all the people that are being adversely affected, then you're violent. And if you want to call me violent because Kyle Clark called me violent, then you're just a dog whistling little leftist that is dressed in a sheep's clothing. I'm going to call for restoration. I'm going to call for accountability. And that accountability has the death penalty attached to it. And I actually think we should stop pretending that what they did not kill millions of Americans, because it did. Period. How did Victor Marx publish 3 books while in solitary in Saudi Arabia? No idea. No idea. Wait, what did it say? Vigilante time at the top? I don't have that part. Sorry, I'm looking at some of the comments that are on there. Vigilante time, need this to happen to detour the others. And you're right, they're not normal in any sense of the word. Love you guys. That's from G Wiz. Look, I'm not going to call for violence. but I've already heard it. I've had people call me all day long today. Oh, Joe, this person Heidi did this, and this person that said this, and oh yeah, stay away from Joe. Yeah, stay the fuck away from me. Yeah, do that. Because you're cowards. And you don't actually care about anybody but yourself. So you want to look good and you want to act like you're doing good when you watch Americans actually suffer. You'd rather lose as a Republican than stand on virtue and fight for Americans from a position where they're just American. And I'm talking about Republican politics in Colorado, any state. Any state. And the fact that you can let these things happen to your neighbors and your brothers and your sisters and your husbands and wives and dads and moms, and you can sit here and go through this entire thing and then tell people, oh, by the way, I don't want to hear anybody calling for death. Well, I just have one question for you. How the hell are you going to get rid of evil? You think it's just going to sit down and have a conversation with you and decide it's going to walk away? You think evil is just going to stop doing what it did to Charlie Kirk? You think it's going to stop doing what it did to President Trump? Or to our children? Or to the little boy that got stabbed by this demon that got put back on the street? Where they steal your voice and steal your money and put you in a place where you're less than a half of a person? That? You're just going to accept that and say, oh no, it says in here, turn the other cheek. That's not what it means, by the way. The Bible is very clear to be warriors when it's time to be a warrior. And right now, that's what we're doing. We're going to be warriors. And I have a feeling that President Trump has no desire to have any mercy on the people that have hurt Americans, hurt his family, and hurt so many others, including Tina Peters. So no, I won't sit down. And I'll get more and more loud against the people that are out there talking trash about me for what I said and for other people about what they said. Yeah, I'm going to get a lot more loud. Because at some point, you're basically betraying the same people just like the left. You are the left in Prada. All right. I just got to laugh because we're going to see Mesa County go down. No sympathy for these evil, disgusting people. No, I don't. I mean, I'm sad that they're so demonic. But what did Jesus do to all the demons that he pulled out of the person? And he put it in the sows. Did he just say, okay, just hang out in the sows for a little bit? No, he ran them off a cliff to their death. What do you expect to have happen to evil? I mean, you admit that it's evil, but then you're like, we shouldn't do the right thing. No. Oh, we should. No, absolutely not. It's time to hold them accountable and to make an example out of them. That's what needs to happen. That's what needs to be done. All right. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'm going to have a great weekend because I know that very shortly President Trump is going to push a little button and do what's necessary to get Tina Peters out. And I know that follows. What follows after that, very clearly, is going to be arrests. Lots of them. Lots of arrests. And I know where the epicenter is, and I know what information they have. You know what the greatest part about the information they have? I think it's going to result in Eric Coomer's attorneys being arrested. I think it's going to result in Jena Griswold and Phil Weiser and Polis being arrested. I think people all over the country, I think the same people that are doing it in Colorado are also going to get hit up in Michigan, in Minnesota. I think it's going to be a free-for-all. I think that there's going to be a lot of people that are arrested. And then there's going to be a lot of lawsuits, and there's going to be a lot of falling down that happens across the board for all the people that have just done demonic things to the American people. And I think ultimately, if we rip the Band-Aid off and have courage, we can not just save our nation, but we can save the world from itself. All right. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and more. We're now on the Roku app, so you can actually see us. And you can see us on the Rumble app as well. So if you're on your TV, you have a smart TV, you can download Rumble and see us there as well. All right. Let's pray. We need an army of Joe Oltmans. Man, that'd be scary. I don't know. My wife said she has trouble with just me. So Yeah, that'd be a tough one. That'd be a real tough one. Let's pray it out. Father God, we are so grateful for these pathways of hope, these lights that you put in our lives. We're grateful for President Trump. We're even grateful for the people that are standing in opposition that are showing us the two sides of the coin, the two wings of the same bird. We're grateful for those people that don't have courage so we can know what it looks like when we have courage. That there can be a shining light out there of things that we need to do collectively in order to save our nation, but that we may recognize those that are not saving anything but serving themselves. We recognize the goodness that is in front of us. We recognize the things that we have in our lives, the blessings, the relationships, the people that have made the last 4 or 5 years bearable. And even before that, we're grateful for President Trump's leadership and his sharp tongue. We're grateful for his ability to call what's in front of him a spade and say, this is the truth. And he is unapologetic about that. But we're grateful for the influence that you have on President Trump and so many others. We know that you are lifting up Tina Peters. We know that you are protecting her. We know that you are pushing away that burden, and that the people that are able to get things done despite the interference by the people inside of its own apparatus, we know for a fact that in the end you win. So, Father, I just ask that you give us the ability to see that, to feel that, to participate in that in any way you feel that we need to participate, whether we're leading, following, doing the work that you ask us to do. We just ask you to guide us in a way that we can understand it and set aside petty differences and stop fighting each other. Yet we recognize that we cannot harbor ourselves with the devil. Help us, Father, that we don't get to the point where it results in violence, but that we recognize we must stand up and protect not just our country, but just our brothers and sisters, our children, and not just here in the United States, but around the world. Help us to be compassionate and fair, while also strong and accountable. And I ask, Father, that you would bless Dave Bear as he is down in Mexico, that he can be healed. And I know we keep asking for this prayer, and I just ask you, Father, that you can, just heal Dave Bear. And I know that Scott Bottoms lost his dad just a couple days ago, so I just ask that you comfort Scott and his family and his wife. And obviously we know his dad is with you. We ask these things, Father, humbly, and we're grateful. Again, we're so grateful for what we have and what we've been able to experience, even the bad stuff. Makes you appreciate the good. We ask these things humbly in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, I will see you guys later. Proverbs 21:1. I love that proverb. All right, go out there and do your work. I'll see you later. God bless you.
Yo, in the shadows of the vote, she stood her ground. Mesa County queen, no fear, truth profound. Hard drives whisper secrets they don't want to hear. Election goes in the machine, crystal clear. They called it breach through the book, 9 years deep. But she flipped the script, made the liars weep. From clerk's desk to cell block, spirit unbroken. One woman's war, words unspoken. Rise up, warriors here to call the night. Justice echoing through the fight. Bars of steel can't change. Federal doors slam shut, appeal on ice. State games rigged, paying the price. Threats in the dark, knives in the yard. 3 times they struck, left her scarred. But Trump's voice booms, let her walk free. Pardon papers flying, can't you see? From Pueblo walls to the nation's eyes. She's the spark that never dies. Rise up, warriors here to call tonight. Justice echoing through the fight. Bars still can't change the light. Change, voices unite, break the pains from the heartland to the hall of power. This ain't over, it's our hour.
Sing it loud, feel the fire, truth the fuel, lift her higher.
Yeah, from the cell to the stars above, one fight turns to endless love. Rise up, make it right.
Rise up untamed in the heart of the fight where the wild ones roam. Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave